Pioneer viewers, how are you doing? I hope you're healthy and well. As the Pioneer team, we continue to share with you the developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. In a moment, we will share with you the latest developments regarding the Ukrainian attack behind the front line. So as it is known, both sides suffered serious equipment losses during the war. However, the equipment loss of the Russian armed forces was relatively higher, and there were many factors for this. In particular, the wrong Russian air defense systems or the Russian strategy in general was one of these factors. So in recent days, this situation has once again come to the light. While the problems in Russia are coming one after the another, different problems are emerging day by day. In particular, Russian defense is seriously affected by these problems every time the Ukrainian armed forces find a new method to break through the defenses of the Russian army. So moreover, the Ukrainian armed forces are doing this by entering deep inside Russia's borders. So what are the details about the latest attacks of the Ukrainian armed forces, which dealt a heavy blow to the Russia's defense? Let's take a look at developments together. Before moving on to our report, let me remind you something. So that is actually a slight reminder, as the Pioneer team, we continue to share our reports on Russia-Ukraine war with you. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our daily reports. You can also support me and my team by using the super thanks button below the videos. Thank you for your support. Let's start if you are ready, the Pioneer reports. So the war between Russia and Ukraine continues not only on the territory of Ukraine, but also on the territory of the Russian Federation. Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, who claimed before the war that he started this war to keep his own territory away from the war, actually made this country a part of the war by taking the decision to go to the war. And the dominance of the Ukrainian armed forces, which displayed a magnificent resistance on the front line, was not only limited to this. The war has largely moved to the Russian territory. So the Russian armed forces have two important weaknesses. One of these weaknesses is intelligence, and we've already discussed this many times in recent days. There are also the weaknesses of the Russian defense. The Ukrainian armed forces have so far developed themselves in attack as well as in defense. Therefore, all strategic facilities, checkpoints, and equipments of the Russian armed forces are under a clear threat. It is an inescapable fact that they are incapable of countering this threat. In particular, the detection activities carried out by the Ukrainian military intelligence and the strategic operations that followed these activities confirmed the situation. The joint operation of the Ukrainian military intelligence and the Ukrainian armed forces, which we will discuss now, should be evaluated from this point of view. So recently it was reported that a group of Ukrainian military intelligence infiltrated a Russian airport and set a Russian helicopter, which was reported to have previously served in Ukraine, on fire. So according to the latest reports, Ukrainian military intelligence mobilized this time to destroy a Russian radar. So much so that this was a multifaceted attack that would deeply shake the Russian army. Ukrainian military intelligence recently shared with the public the information that it destroyed a radar system belonging to the Russian army. And according to the statements made by the Ukrainian military intelligence, this radar system was Patriot K1. The military radar system named Patriot K1 is known as a modern mobile radar system that can detect up to 200 air targets simultaneously and has a detection range of about 180 miles. So for this reason, the radar system is recognized as the most powerful and capable radar system of Russian armed forces. In addition, according to reports, the cost of these radar systems reaches approximately $5 million. So there is another very striking situation related to this radar system. The main targets of this radar system include low-altitude vehicles. In other words, it is very serious need for the protection of the Russian territory. As you know, the Ukrainian armed forces perform low-altitude flights using unmanned aerial vehicles. In this way, Russian radars cannot prevent attacks. Therefore, it is possible to talk about a great strategic planning in this attack carried out by the Ukrainian army. So, according to the regional sources, the operation was carried out under the joint command of the Ukrainian military intelligence and the Black Forest units of the 15th Separate Artillery Reconnaissance Brigade. During this operation, the unmanned aerial vehicles of the Ukrainian armed forces hit the radar. After the hit, the radar system was destroyed with a great noise. Sharing the images of the operation moments on social media, Ukrainian military intelligence shared the images in question with the following statements. Successful fire damage occurred to the antenna feeder installation and the diesel station supplying the complex. The cost of such a radar is more than 700 million rubles or $5 million. All systems of the enemy are our legitimate target. We strive to destroy them all. And even if all the enemy's defense systems come together, they cannot stop us. At the end of the day, the enemy will again face our attacks. Terror awaits them. So it is clear from the statements coming from the Ukrainian sources that the new strategy of the Ukrainian armed forces is to blind Russia. This is a very important development. The weakness of Russian intelligence needs to be mentioned once again. It is obvious that there is such a weakness. However, the fact that new moves will be made for the radars and the Russian defense while no measures have been taken even against this weakness is the new danger that awaits Russia. So it is quite clear that this growing danger will make both the Russian army and the Russian territory vulnerable to the threats. So, as we've stated since the beginning of the war, the Ukrainian armed forces have been implementing a multi-pronged strategy. Although this strategy may seem unsuccessful to some, this is not the case. Russia is suffering a clear loss against Ukraine, and this is evidenced by the fact that after 2.5 years, the Russian armed forces, which after theoretically in a strong position than Ukraine, are still unable to achieve their desired goals. Russia is suffering a great loss of prestige. So it will take a long time to recover this loss of prestige. Such a reality awaits Vladimir Putin, and this is the most important item on Putin's agenda at the moment. The situation in Russia is getting worse in every field, and this situation will continue for quite some time. Therefore, the anger of the Russian people against Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, will increase. After all, war cannot be waged solely with military equipment. So, a serious economic resources is required to provide these resources. As a result of this attack, Russia suffers heavy economic losses. In addition, this economic disorder cannot be recovered due to the diplomatic crisis caused by this war. And the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, is held responsible for all of this. So what do you think? Do you think the operations carried out by the Ukrainian military intelligence are effective? Do you think these operations will continue? Do you think Russian losses can be compensated? What will the Russian administration do to compensate for these losses? Let me know in the comments, because you know that I read and I care a lot about all of your comments.